Hi, this is Pastor Maddie Phillips of Leader to Leader podcast. I want to welcome you today. We have a fantastic program in store for you today. We have a phenomenal woman, a powerful woman, an educator, Dr. Momma Corla Hawkins. Amen. And we just thank God for her. And so welcome, Mama Hawk. How are you doing today?
Praise the Lord. I'm just marvelous.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. And she's looking great. She's looking fantastic. And I just thank God for her. And so we're going to get right to our program. And so, Mama Hawk, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in the Woodlawn community, a very, very rebellious youth and young adult. And instead of going to college, which was prepared for me, I elected to get on public aid. I thought that was a better way of making a life income. I stayed on public aid and realized it wasn't for me, and I went from public aid to PhD.
All right.
Within a 5-year span.
Wow. That's powerful. And my mom always exemplified that it was God and education. If we had those two things, we would be able to make it in life. And I've taught that to my children and my grandchildren, and I just praise God for you being a part of my life and a part of my daughter's life to be able to help us to just reach for the stars. So I would like to ask you this question. What made you want to be an educator?
The real story is, Apostle, I never wanted to be an educator. I really never wanted to be too much of anything.
Okay.
But I went to college and I got a degree in accounting because I was always about the money. Mm-hmm. And I passed the CPA test and became a certified public accountant. But the hours of working in corporate America were way too long. At that time, my babies were 3 and 4.
Okay.
And I really couldn't find quality childcare. So I switched into teaching so they could go to work with me and I could know that they were safe.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. That's powerful. You can take your kids right in the building where you are. So when they're out of school, you're out of school. So that is something to think about when you're looking for a career. What will happen to your children when you're at the workplace. And so that is very powerful, Mama Hawk. You're very encouraging. So what were some of the challenges that you faced with your students and with the staff and with the parents?
Well, first of all, when I started my school, God told me to start the school. I came out of a catatonic state after attempting to commit suicide. And the Lord, while I was in this catatonic state, the Lord showed me this school and what he wanted me to do. So it was a very prayerful school. Every move was done prayerfully. And when God showed me the 3 challenges, the first challenge he showed me was that I was going to deal with children that didn't believe in themselves and who were told they were never going to be anything. Wow. Truly, that was going to be a challenge. And I faced every bit of that. The second challenge God told me I was going to encounter was insecure parents who were going to feel that the children were going to be smarter than they were and they wouldn't feel accepted by the children. And truly, that was a challenge. Parents really clown when the kids started making the honor roll and stuff. They would tell them, you ain't all that. I don't care what Mama say. You ain't that smart. And then I had teachers that wrote excellent resumes. Came across with the appearance that, oh my God, I really want to be a teacher. And realized that it was really about making the money because my school was an 8-hour school. And it was a 6-day-a-week school. So the teachers were making good money. And they realized that they didn't have the same vested interest in the West Side students as they did in their North Side children. And I had a challenge with that by saying, teach these children as if they were your own. Believe that this kid is going to college like you working to make money to send yours to college.
Yes.
And they really had a lot of problems. Now, I did have some teachers that were good. Yes. But you have to believe that when you run a school and you have a whole staff, you don't get a whole staff of folks with the same commitment. It's just not real.
Yes. So after facing those challenges, how were you able to move forward? To have those teachers, or that you just brought on those on board that were willing to work the program that you knew that God had given you for these students?
Well, what the Lord showed me was I had to invest in them in the beginning of the day. So we would all meet in a hall in a circle in a Chicago public school. We would start off with prayer, asking God to take care of that whole day. And then I would do affirmations with them about who they were. And I made the teachers say the affirmations with them. And then I invited the parents in. And while the teachers were teaching the children, I took the parents in the lunchroom and I began to GED teach the parents. So all of us could be empowered. And then when we finished school, at the end of the day, we affirmed and said, I thank God that I was successful today. I thank God that I'm on my way to being the leader that he said I'm going to be.
Okay.
I thank God that even though I might not know it, I know that I can do all things through him. And the kids began to believe that, and they'll say, I might not know it now, but I know that I can do all things through Christ.
Yes.
And then they were encouraged.
Amen. That is powerful. So you mean to tell me you prayed in a public school?
Remember, I never wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So once God told me what to do, and it was so funny because People Magazine did an article about me, and at the day they came to do the article, Superintendent Paul Vallis walked in my school with the media.
Yeah.
And we were in the circle praying. And so the teachers were getting nervous and they wanted to take their hands away because they thought we were going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
I said, if you're going to work in this school, we pray to start our day.
Yeah.
Paul Vallis, we getting ready to have prayer.
Yeah.
Now, if you can get in this circle or you can stand outside the door till I do the benediction.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, no. I'm in the circle.
Yeah.
And the camera people got in the circle and we prayed.
Yeah.
And I said, Paul Vallis, you can say amen.
Yeah.
And he said amen. And the kids went on. And they said what the kids learned.
Yes.
They said, Mama, what we learned was we're not ashamed of God.
All right now.
You weren't ashamed of God.
Yes.
I told them, you can have this job because I'm here because God sent me. So if you can send me away, I'm out of here. And they didn't.
All right.
And Paul Vallis actually said to the media, well, you can't do nothing with Mama Hawkins. When she started talking about Jesus, we just got to get out the way.
Yeah. Powerful. And I see some of your students now, and they're doing fantastic. They're doing well. They've gone on to get bachelor's and master's degrees. They have great jobs, and you've invested great time into them. So my question is, what did you see for some of our African-American children hindrances in learning? What would seem to be some of the key issues?
The real key issue that I saw in the hindrance in learning was the sabotage of our school system in the way they fed them.
Okay.
So in the morning, they would give them a donut, and they would give them sugar cereal, and they would give them sugar juice. So by the time you went to teach reading at 10 o'clock, that sugar wore off. They ready to go to sleep. They were sapped out, and I said, quit.
Yeah.
We changed the diet.
Okay.
The kids got fresh fruits, vegetables. The liquids, I bought a juicer. We juice vegetable juice, fruit juices, carrot juice.
Yeah.
And once I changed their eating diet, it looked like a miracle. I think the food it worked like a lobotomy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the kids who couldn't learn were saying things and doing things. I'm going like, the kids became a genius over a meal.
Yes.
But it was true.
Okay.
We changed the way we fed them. We gave them breaks in between, in the middle of the day, so they could take rest. Because to get to school at 8 and get out of school at 5 with no rest, everybody, even if you go on a job, you get 2 15-minute breaks and an hour lunch.
Absolutely.
So I had to do that with them because I ran the school as if it were corporate America.
Yeah.
And we continue to have competition.
Okay.
We had different families. We named them the Cardinals, the Robins. We named them after different birds.
I remember that.
And they were the bird families.
Yeah.
And we wanted to see which bird would fly the highest.
Okay.
We told them all birds can fly.
Yes.
But it's up to you if you reach a different destiny.
Okay.
And so they competed with each other in a healthy way.
Yes.
In a healthy way. Because even if they didn't, if their bird family didn't make it, they still encouraged the family that did.
Yes.
And they knew tomorrow would be their day.
Yes.
But the fact that they were all striving to achieve made learning a success.
Yes. It was a very powerful setting. When I taught there for a while, it was very challenging. I really liked that fine dining area that you had introduced them to, and family style eating. So can you just share a little of that with us?
Well, one of the things that I feel that cause a lot of our children to get lost is we don't take time to talk to them.
Okay.
So when dinner time came, we did fine dining.
Okay.
As if we were going to Laurie's or any 5-star restaurant with the salad fork and the dinner fork and the soup spoon and the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
And we would sit at the table and they had to have a conversation. Sometimes we would put table topics on the table for them to discuss. Sometimes we let them just talk about their day. Sometimes we say, today is a vending day. Talk about everything we did in the school you didn't like. You can talk about any teacher you want without any penalty. Oh, those were their best days. Oh, they love to talk about Mama Hawk. You too loud. You did this. I'm going like, we're not going to have too many of those days. Y'all was wearing me out. But a lot of love was shown there because they learned how to communicate at the table.
Yes.
Because they sat at different tables. They learned how to talk where the conversation stayed only at their table so that the table in the back didn't have to hear what the table in the front was saying.
Yes.
Because when you go to a restaurant, you have to know that everybody didn't come to hear what you're talking about.
Right, absolutely.
It's not public speaking.
Right.
And so that was really good for them because it taught them the power of a family.
Yes.
And sometimes they ate with their designated bird family, and sometimes one bird from each family had to sit together. We mixed them up so that they could talk about what other people talked about.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Now, I really admired the corporate mentorship program that you had. That, on Saturday morning, the kids were going flying, learning how to fly. I was like, woo, I don't think I'm going to participate in that one. But they learned how to fly, and many of them, I know Sprint was a sponsor, and
Hella Financial.
Yeah, Hella Financial. So it was quite a few corporate sponsors that came to the school. So can you give us a little brief? Maybe someone is thinking about starting something with youth or with young adults, foster kids, that how you went about getting those corporate sponsors to help you with those kids. And I experienced some of those great fallout of those relationships that you had. So can you kind of explain a little of that?
Well, the reason why we did that is when you first sign up to come to Recovery and a Gifted Child, I give the children an application, and the application is a prerequisite to your future.
Okay.
And I'll say to the child, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, keep in mind, these are kids that thought they weren't going to be anything. So one girl said, I want to be on public aid. I want to do this. I just want to do it. So I allowed them to write that down because that's what they knew. But as they began to learn, I revisit that. Now, what do you want to be? So one child said, well, I really want to be a pilot. Okay, it's okay to say you want to be a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, or a pilot. But until you know what that's about, you don't really know that that's what you want to do.
Right.
And I didn't want them to waste their entire career studying to be something that they didn't really understand what it was.
Exactly.
So I talked to corporate America and I said, I have 3 kids that think they would like to be a pilot. Could you allow them to have that experience, see what an airplane is like, fly the airplane, simulate fly the airplane, get that idea so they can connect that. I remember Eric Benson kept saying that he wanted to be a doctor. And I connected him up with Mount Sinai. And he went there and he worked and he worked and he came back and he talked about all the books the doctor had in his office, and he came back and he said, well, I love to read, but I'm not good with all that blood. They took me in that surgical room. No, I don't think that's what I want to be. Can I change my career? Keep in mind, he's in 7th grade now. So there was a good time for us to understand that you didn't need to go all the way through high school trying to be a doctor when you didn't know that it was going to involve blood.
Exactly.
Because you don't know, because you're in 7th grade, so you don't really know. So as I got a good hold of what their careers were, and one of my classes was in careers. So they got taught and exposed to careers. I contacted people and said, I have a future leader that think they would like to be a nurse. I remember Tyler Courtney, Dr. Tyler Courtney was at St. Anthony's. And I told her, I said, I have a few kids that really want to be a doctor. She says, cool, hook me up. And she took 2 or 3 of them to work with her, and they saw a different side of what a doctor is. And she treated them to lunch, and she told them her educational experience and background. And one of the kids came back and said, oh, that Dr. Courtney, she did a whole lot to be a doctor. I just wanted the quick program. And I said, go back and tell Dr. Tyler Courtney what you thought. And they went back. And she said, that doesn't mean that you have to leave the medical field because you don't want to be a doctor. You could be a nurse. You could be a nurse's aide. You could be a CNA. You could, and she began to tell them the other fields. And then she shared with them other people on her job that were in those other fields. And to this day, one of my students is a medical assistant at a hospital where she's a supervisor making $65,000 a year. And she said, remember when Dr. Courtney took me to St. Anthony? See,
that's
but we would never know.
Absolutely.
She would have gone through like wanting to be a doctor when she realized that wasn't what was in her.
Right. And I remember you had a software where the kids could punch in their desired career, and it would tell them what they would have to go through, and it would tell them their salary. And that was a powerful software that you had.
That was in our career class? Because kids keep saying they want to make a lot of money, but we need to understand what a lot of money was. And one of my kids said they wanted to be a pharmacist, and then when they looked at what the requirements were, they said, I do not like math.
Okay.
But the pharmacist needed 6 years of math.
Yes.
So how you going to get around that? And I said, well, maybe you could just be the person that passed the medicine to the people after the pharmacist does it.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you can't work in the field.
Right.
But you have to look at what you like to do.
Right.
And it really helps a lot of the children begin to look at what they like to do, go back to the teachers and say, I want to be a pharmacist. Could you give me extra math?
Yes.
Could you teach me this part of math? This is too easy. And that's how they began to correlate the reality of their careers. And the real story is most of my students today are very successful.
Yes. And my granddaughter, Lakia, was a part of Recovering the Gifted Child, and we thought that she had a learning disability. And in April of this year, a month or two away, she will be receiving her master's degree in I believe it is called psychology. I believe it is because my daughter, they always tell me, Mama, you got it wrong. You got it all twisted up. But anyway, I'm just happy that she's getting her master's degree, and she and her mom are going to go in business together. And it is because of you, and you gave me an opportunity to work there. And I really enjoyed working with the kids. As a matter of fact, Julian Lloyd, one of your students, just preached at our church about 2-3 Sundays ago, and he is anointed. He's a powerful man of God. And you have kids that you personally brought home with you. Otha Jefferson, he came home with me one weekend. He just kept asking, can he come home with me? And he stayed with me, I think, about 7 or 8 years from one weekend. And so you did a great job talking and helping kids. So what closing words would you have for a new educator that's coming into the field? Because the culture and the landscape is so different than when you came in years ago. The kids are different. The parents are different. And so what encouraging word or final word will you have for a new teacher coming into the field?
I think I would say to them, don't come into education looking for the blame game.
Okay.
Don't look to say this kid isn't anything because his mama's on drugs. Or this kid isn't anything because the mama thinks so and so and so and so.
Yeah.
Begin to take accountability for why you in this profession.
Okay.
Because with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
So you have to have the right attitude. You have to have the right spirit. And I just am truly a believer that without God, you cannot be a good teacher.
Yes.
I mean, God is the master teacher.
Yes.
So if you're going to teach anything that he created, then you got to at least be able to go to him about his creation.
Yes, come on.
This is his creation.
Come on.
So if you got a child that looks like it's the worst child in the world, if it's too hard for you, it's just right for God.
Yes.
Somebody need to get on their face and talk to God about that child, because that child is not lost.
Yes.
And that's not a kid that we're going to throw away.
Yes.
That's a kid that God wants you to reach down and put in your bosom, pray over him, and ask God to guide you through him. That child could be our next president.
Amen. Thank you, Mama Hawk. She's internationally known, and she's humble to help. She'll help anybody, and I just thank God for her and how she has invested into our children's lives over the years. And so you can call 773-677-7722 if you would like to speak with Mama Hawk and have some questions. Teachers, whether you're in the teaching field, working in a public school, private school, or if you're just teaching at your church and you would like to ask us some questions as to how to further your ability to teach, you can reach me at 773-677-7722, and we'll make sure that Mama Hawk get your message. So until next week, this is Pastor Maddie Phillips with Leader to Leader podcast, and we want you to know that we are changing lives by the word and the power of God, and we're leading and training men and women today to lead tomorrow. God bless you.